Today I will be showing you how to make an adult's mask and a kid's mask. You can choose to do one or the other or both. And these masks do have pockets for inserts. For kids, you'll want to do 15 by 15 centimeters, so you can make a square pattern for that. And for adults, you'll want to do 20 by 19.5 centimeters, or 19 depending on how wide you want your mask. And for the elastic, you will want to cut for kids, I did 15 centimeters, and for adults, 20 centimeters. But it all depends on how big your face is and everything. And today you will need fabric for making the mask, a measuring tape, elastic, pins, scissors, and to make a pattern. For the adult mask, I added a wire from a disposable mask I was done with because they have wires in it. So also, if you want to do that, you'll need a wire. First of all, you're gonna put your pattern onto two pieces of fabric. One would be the front and one will be the back. And if they're different, then cut one of each. Now I've cut out my fabric that I'm going to use. It's all cut. So I'm going to take off the pattern. And now you're going to cut the back fabric so that you can have a slot to put in your insert. I highly recommend doing that. It really helps block out allergens and things. If you're not going to use a bias tape, then you will want to make the back fabric a little bit bigger so that you can make a seam here without changing the size. So if you are going to make a seam on the actual fabric, you'll skip this step and just start on that seam. Put the bias tape, I believe that's what this is called, onto here and sew it. This is the fabric that's going to go on the inside for the pocket. I'm going to sew it. So if you're doing a seam where you sewed it yourself and not actually a tape, then you're going to want to put the right side in for this next step. And now we're going to take the front fabric, turn it right side in, choose the prettier side. Now I've lined up and pinned my fabric right side in, because we're going to turn this inside out after, and we're going to sew all the way around. I've gone in and cut the corners, not too close, but enough so that it won't be bulky. So I'm going to go in and do zigzag now. There we go, I did zigzag twice, just to really make sure it all holds in, because I will probably be washing this a lot. Now inside out them, which is actually the right side. Inside out, here we go. And you're gonna want to get the corners really good, so you want to get something where you can poke those out. I'm just using this little cake pop straw. That's what I have at the moment. So I'm going to go in and iron it real nice. I'm going to make the pleating, and when you do that you'll just avoid intersecting with this. And I'm not doing anything specific, but you can measure and whatnot. Just make sure the mask is still big enough for your face. So this is how I decide to fold it, and I'm going to go in and iron it and make it look nice. Back looks like after ironing. And I avoided blocking this, and I did all the pleating downward. Like it like that. And when I sew, I will try to keep it as straight as possible on the edges so that it looks nice. So I'm going to go in and do that. I'm going to sew from here around to here because I want to put in a nose wire. So now I've done all the sewing up to here. I'm actually going to take out all these pins and then put my wire in. You can finish sewing and then put it in. I've taken my pins out. To iron over that. And this is the wire that I'm going to put in for the nose. And then sew around it. I inserted my wire, it's right here. You can tell. And I'm going to go down and then sew around it. And I'm trying to get it as in the center as possible. If you're a perfectionist, you can measure everything. I finished sewing, and here's the wire for nose. Here's the inside, the outside. And I'm going to cut elastic now. It's a thin one. Now I'm going to sew it on the inside, right here, up and down a few times, right here, and then across on the elastic, and then up and down, and then finished, just to give it a lot of reinforcement. I'm going to do that for the other corners as well. And here's the finished product. Sewed right here, and you can cut everything really nice. For the elastic, I ended up going with 20 centimeters. It all depends on you. You can always make it shorter, but it's hard to make it longer. And this is the completed adult mask. Pleating and do the same thing as I did with the other mask on the kid's mask. Fold and pin and then sew. I will leave out the wire on the kid's mask because the disposable ones don't have it, but that's your choice. I'll sew it. If you want things to go quickly, you can cut the elastic and just sew over it while you're sewing everything else. And you'll want to keep this so that you can open it. So I did decide to just sew these on simply while I'm sewing for the kids mask. So I just sewed over it, and I'll probably go in and back that up later. We have it, a finished kids mask with an insert pocket. And you can choose how tidy you do this or not. I will go over that later.